Hello and welcome to the March 2019 layout update for the Trent Valley Railway. In this update, we'll have a look at the progress with the cork underlay. Approaching the garage door end of the layout, the cork underlay process continued. We'll have a look at the lighting I've put in for the fiddle yard. I've added in the strip lights at either end as well, not just the middle. And we'll see some more trains running around the layout. It's been a year since I started doing the layout updates for the Trent Valley Railway, and so since March 2018 I'm now at a place where I'm near enough putting down the track on the layout. Now that it's taken a considerable amount of time over the past year to get to where I am now, it's one of the things not to underestimate, but also not to rush when building a model railway. The progress here has mainly been about getting the foundations right and getting the baseboards and the levels correct. I'm now at the place where I've been able to put down the cork underlay, but as I'll take you through now, I've still faced some challenges around doing that after completing most of the inclines and the baseboard work. Over the past month, I've now got the cork underlay on the lower level of the layout. So this is basically where all the storage of the trains will be, and the fiddle yard as well. So on this lower level, I've used 2mm thick cork. Started in that corner there, and I've slowly progressed then towards the garage and down that end. So we'll go and take a look at what this looks like all the way along this side. On this side there is a considerable length for the fiddle yard, which means that I've used 1 metre wide roll of cork underlay. As I said, it's 2mm thick, and I've put them effectively down here sideways. Now, to put them down on top of the baseboards, I've used the dumbbell weights there that are green in front of us. They were used along top of some wooden planks and also some heavy book literature, which then weighed down on top of the cork to make it glue to the baseboard below. Approaching the garage door end of the layout, the cork underlay process continued, and as we follow it across, then came to the removable section in the middle here, which I've only done the bottom layer, which joins up with the two lower level baseboards either side. And again, I've come across to the other side and I've put down the cork underlay, but what I've done is I've left the area underneath the incline because I won't be able to use that on the lower level of the layout for the fiddle yard and the running lines. I have continued alongside this side of the garage and then left the areas alone where we've got the two inclines at the very back. I've also glued down the Woodland Scenics foam inclines there, which then go into the incline baseboards and have continued all the way around to then meet up back where I first started with putting the cork underlay down on the lower level. For gluing down the cork sheets onto the baseboard, I've used Gorilla wood glue. Now this quite nicely bonds any type of material onto wood, so it's done the job and is very tough, as it says, but there are other glues out there which would probably do the job just as fine. One of the things that I found whilst gluing down the cork sheets is, because I built the framework for the incline before I put down the cork on the lower level of the layout, it means I've had to cut around a lot of the structures. So you can see on the screen here where we've got the structures for the removable section, but also for the incline as it comes around on the left hand side, and I've had to basically cut out the cork sheets around these structures as I've tried to lay it then down on the baseboards. Similarly as well, trying to get the baseboard, trying to get right to the back of the baseboards on the other side of the garage with getting the cork sheets down without them sort of rolling or breaking up was also a challenge. So if you do want to put cork down on top of the baseboards, probably best and wise to do so without having all the sort of inclines and the structures above if you were to start your layout from scratch. Whilst I was putting down the cork underlay on the fiddle yard side here, which has the baseboard above it, I thought best to put in some LED strip lights so I can at least see what's in the fiddle yard rather than it being in darkness. These are very simple 10-meter LED strips that you can find on eBay, plenty of choices, and I've put these as two strips first of all, with one 10-meter roll on the very bottom on the left hand side of the two inclines, and then I've added a second 10-meter strip on the bottom of the baseboards above. I've added in these strip lights at either end as well, not just the middle. So these are self-adhesive as well, so they stick straight onto the wood when you peel off the sticky back from the LEDs, and they light up the corners very nicely. The next part of the build will be to get the track down on the lower level of the baseboards. Now that I've got effectively the 2mm cork underlay ready to go on the lower level, as it then goes up the inclines and goes up to the scenic sections, I will be transitioning that into 4mm cork underlay, but I thought I might as well not go that far on the lower level because it doesn't need that sort of scenic addition by using 4 rather than 2mm. So over the next month I'll have got most of this track either sort of in place of where it's meant to go or actually down on the fiddle yard, and as you can see towards the back there I've already started to get some of the point work as well, to use the sort of spaces right at the back, and I've got plenty of track to get down on this lower level of the layout. I'm happy with the progress I've made during the last month. I'd have liked to have got some track down on the lower level, but I took the time getting the cork underlay sheets right and letting them dry and set without making any mistakes. So over the next month there'll be hopefully some more track actually down and some track plans to see on the lower level of the layout. There'll also be a video on how I've built the inclines around the layout, and there'll also be some highlights from the London Festival of Model Railways. I'll leave you now with some running shots of the Network Rail HST and the Chiltern Class 68 with the MRA wagons.